Hello all, my name is Rahman and in this video I am going to review a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, in this video I am going to share the 7 habits that we can learn from this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, this book was published in 15th August 1989 and the author of the book is Stephen R. Covey. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, there are 7 habits that I am going to tell you the first. The first one is be proactive. Second is begin with the end in the mind. And third is put the first things first. Fourth one is think win-win. Fifth is seek to understand first before making yourself understood. Learn to synergize. And the seventh is sharpen the saw. So let's go ahead and get detailed in each of these. So the first habit is be proactive. The first and the most fundamental habit of an effective person is to be proactive. More than just taking the initiative, being proactive means taking responsibility for your life. Consequently, you don't blame your behavior on external factors such as circumstances, but own it as part of a conscious choice based on your values. Where reactive people are driven by the feelings and proactive people are driven by the values. Reactive people just driven by the feelings and the proactive people are driven by the values. While external factors have the ability to cause pain, your inner character doesn't need to be damaged. What matters most is how you respond to these experiences. Proactive individuals focus their efforts on the things they can change, whereas reactive people focus on their efforts on the areas of their lives in which they have no control. They amass negative energy by blaming external factors for their feelings of victimhood. This in turn empowers other forces to privately control them. The clearest manifestation of proactive can be seen in your ability to stick to the commitments you make to yourself and to the others. This includes a commitment to self-improvement by extension personal growth by setting small goals and sticking to them. You gradually increase your integrity, which increases your ability to take responsibility for your life. In this book, Stephen R. Covey suggests undertaking a 30-day proactive test in which you make a series of small commitments and stick to them. Observe how this changes your sense of self. And the second habit is begin with the end in the mind. To better understand this habit, Covey invites you to imagine your funeral. He asks you to think how you would like your loved ones to remember you. What you would like them to acknowledge as your achievements and to consider what a difference you made in their lives. Engaging in this thought experiment helps you identify some of your key values that should underpin your behavior. Stephen R. Covey says that through imagination we can visualize the uncreated worlds of potential that lie within us. Accordingly, each day of your life should contribute to the vision you have for your life as a whole. Knowing what is important to you means you can live your life in service of what matters the most. Habit 2 involves the identifying old scripts that are taking you away from what matters the most. That means that when challenges arise, you can meet them proactively and with integrity as your values are clear. And Covey states And Covey states that the most effective way to begin with the end in mind is to create a personal mission statement. And it should show and it should focus on what you want to be, your character, and it should focus on what you want to do, contributions and achievements, and it should focus on the values upon which both of these things are based. The first one is what you want to be. You need to understand your character. You should focus on your character. And the second is what you want to do. Like what you want to do. Like you want to become some engineer, you want to become this, that, and he says that. And the last one is the values upon which both of these things are based. And the third habit is put the first things first. To begin this chapter, Covey asks you to answer the following questions. Like, what one thing could you do regularly that you aren't currently doing that would improve your personal life? And the second one is, similarly, what one thing could you do to improve your business or professional life? The first question is, what one thing could you do regularly? Regularly, what you could do, and which thing should be that you are not doing that you aren't currently doing that would improve your personal life. And the second one is, similarly, what one thing could you do to improve your business or professional life? He says. Whereas habit 1 encourages you to realize you are in the charge of your own life, and habit 2 is based on the ability to visualize and to identify your key values, and habit 3 is the implementation of these two habits. Okay, the first habit encourages you to realize you are in charge of your own life, and the second habit is based on the ability to visualize and to identify your key values. And the first habit and the second habit mixes and becomes the 3, which means that habit 3 is the implementation of these two habits. It focuses on the practice of effective and self-management through independent will. By asking yourself the above questions like, what one thing could you do regularly that you aren't currently doing that you would improve your personal life? And the other question, similarly, what one thing could you do to improve your business or professional life? By asking yourself these two questions, you become aware that you have the power to significantly change your life in the present. Thus, having an independent will means you are capable of making decisions and acting on them. How frequently you use your independent will is dependent on your integrity. Your integrity is synonymous with how much you value yourself and how well you keep your commitments. Habit 3 concerns itself with prioritizing these commitments and putting the most important things first. This means cultivating the ability to say no to things that don't match your guiding principles. To manage your time efficiently in accordance with the habit 3, your actions must be the principle centered, and they must be consigned directed, meaning that they give you to the opportunity to organize your life in accordance with your core values. They define your key mission, which includes your values and then the long-term goals. They give you balance to your life. They are organized weekly with daily adaptations as needed. So he says, Stephen R. Covey says in this book that to manage your time effectively in accordance with habit 3, your actions must be these 5 things. Okay. The thread that ties all five of these points together is that the focus is on improving the relationships and results, not maximizing your time. And the fourth habit is think win-win. Covey argues that win-win isn't a technique, it's a philosophy of human interaction. It's a frame of mind that seeks out a mutual benefit for all concerned. This means that all agreements or solutions are mutually beneficial and all parties feel satisfied with the outcome. To embody this mindset, life must be seen as a cooperative, not a competition. Consequently, anything less than a win-win outcome goes against the pursuit, pursuit of independence, which is the most efficient state to be operating within. Stephen Orcovy says that win-win sees life as a cooperative, not a competitive arena. Therefore, to adopt a win-win mindset, you must cultivate the habit of interpersonal leadership. This involves exercising each of the following traits when interacting with others, like self-awareness, imagination, conscience, independent will. To be an efficient win-win leader, Covey argues that you must embrace five independent dimensions. Like the first one is character, as I said. This is the foundation upon which a win-win mentality is created, and it means that acting with integrity, maturity, and abundance mentality. And that is, there is a plenty of everything for everyone. Once person's success doesn't threaten your success. And the second one is relationships. Trust is essential to achieving win-win agreements. You must nourish your relationships to maintain a high level of trust. And the third one is agreements. This means that the parties involved must agree on the desired results, guidelines, resources, accountability, and the consequences. And the fourth one is win-win performance agreements. Win-win performance agreements and supportive systems. Creating a standardized, agreed upon set of desired results to measure performance within a system that can support a win-win mindset. And the fifth one is process, which is the very main all of this. All processes must allow for win-win solutions to arise, which is very, very important. And the fifth habit is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Stephen Orcovy says that most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. In this habit, the author says that every one of us, many people, listen for replying, not for understanding. If you want to improve your interpersonal relations, Covey argues that you must endeavor to understand a situation before attempting to make yourself understood. The ability to communicate clearly is essential for your overall effectiveness, as it's the most important skill you can train. While you spend years learning to read, write, and speak, and then Covey states that little focus is given to training the skill of listening. He says that we spend years to learn, we spend years to read, to write, and to speak, but he says that, but just to give little focus to the training of the skill of listening. Every one of us, many people of us just say that just listen for replying, not for understanding. If your principles are solid, you naturally want to engage and listen to the people without making them feel manipulated. Consequently, it's through your character that you transmit and communicate what type of a person you are. Through it, people will come to instinctively trust and open up to you. While most people listen with the intent of replying, the, the proficient listener will listen with the intent to understand. This is known as the skill of empathetic listening. He says an empathetic listener can get into the frame of reference of the person speaking. By doing so, they see the world as they do and feel the things the way they feel. Empathetic listening therefore allows you to get a clearer picture of reality. When you begin to listen to people with the intent of understanding them, you will be astounded at how quickly they will open up. And the sixth habit is synergize. Stephen Orgavy says that once people have experimented real synergize, they are never quit the same again. When synergize is operating at its fullest, it cooperates the desire to reach win-win agreements. With empathetic communication, it's the essence of the principle-centered leadership. It unifies and unleashes great power from people as it's based on the tenet that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The real challenge is to apply principle of synergetic creative cooperation into your social interactions. Stephen Orkowitz argues that such instances of synergetic interpersonal group collaboration are often neglected but should be part of your daily life. At its core, synergize is a creative process that requires vulnerability, openness, and communication. It means that balancing the mental, emotional, and psychological differences between a group of people, and in doing so, creating new paradigms of true thought between the group members. This is where creativity is maximized. Synergize is effectiveness as an interdependent reality. This involves teamwork, team building, and the creation of unity with other human beings. And the seventh habit and the final habit is sharpen the saw. The seventh habit is all about enhancing yourself through the four dimensions of the renewal. Physical. The first one is physical. Exercise, nutrition, and stress management. This means caring for your physical body, eating right, getting enough sleep, and exercising regularly. And the second is social and emotional. Service, empathy, synergize, and intrinsic security. This provides you with a feeling of security and meaning. Third one is spiritual. Value clarification and commitment, study and meditation in focusing on this area of your life. You get closer to your center and your inner value system. And fourth one is mental. Reading, visualization, planning, and writing. To continually educate yourself means expanding your mind. This essentially for effectiveness. To sharpen the saw means to express and exercise all four of these motivations regularly and consistently. This is the most important investments you can make in your life. As you are the instrument of your performance, it's essential to tend to each area with balance. As to overdo in one area means to neglect another. So, these are the 7 habits of highly effective people. So please read this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is pretty useful and which is life-changing book. So that's all for this video, and if you like this video, and please subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, give it in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.